One of the great dreams of every astronomer, I believe, is to choose a path which is untrodden, a path which has not really been fully investigated before. Some people find this dream rather easily, the path less traveled, and with others it's a little more difficult. But I found my niche very early on in terms of a verse which God gave me, which would direct my entire research career. And the verse essentially is from the Old Testament. God said to me, He would, from the book of Isaiah actually, He would give me the treasures of darkness. He would give me the treasures of darkness and the hidden riches of secret places. Now, how on earth can one actually delve into the treasures of darkness? Well, God opened my eyes to a new domain of the electromagnetic spectrum. You see, you cannot see my spinal column optically. It's hidden by my skin. You cannot see it. But of course, my spinal column is there, and we can see it by means of X-rays, for example. Well, in a very similar vein, the universe is encased in dark stuff, dark cosmic dust. It's not always dark. It might be radiating at certain infrared wavelengths, for example. But we need very special cameras to capture the infrared photons. And it goes back really to the former Soviet Union and the United States developing espionage equipment to spy on the movement of trucks and so forth, and possibly arms at night in the former Soviet Union. And so when these cameras were declassified in the, I believe, late 1980s, early 1990s, I was one of the first astronomers to actually use large format infrared array cameras to see what does the universe actually look like in the infrared, not in the optical as we see with our eyes, but in the infrared domain of the electromagnetic spectrum. And I was astonished. The moment I started looking at galaxies, I saw that galaxies could take on very, very different shapes in the infrared domain. For example, many galaxies would display very interesting features, linear features, almost like a line of stars, which we call galactic bars. I saw that the spiral shapes of galaxies could actually change as a function of wavelength. This was terribly interesting because when you look at, say, the Milky Way and you see a dark patch, it seems like there's nothing there. But with infrared eyes, you actually can see that there might be clusters of stars being formed behind these vast dark clouds, optically dark clouds of dust and of gas. And so it was really intriguing the way God led me to probe the universe, not using optical eyes, but using infrared eyes. And the universe took on a totally different appearance in the infrared region of our electromagnetic spectrum. And it just goes to show me the diversity of God's creation. You know, optically, for example, one might study a galaxy and it presents a certain shape. But what you see behind the shrouds of the night, what you see behind these cosmic dust screens is absolutely and truly phenomenal. Professor Ken Freeman and I, one of my dearest collaborators and friends, actually wrote a book on this called Shrouds of the Night. There might be some copies available on Amazon, although it's really out of print. Shrouds, veritable shrouds of the night. And here I sit decades later, and I can look back with such joy at the majesty and the grandeur and at the wonder and at the awe and at the splendor of the universe when we look at it through different eyes. The real secret of research is not to look at something with the same eyes, but to look at it with a new perspective in different domains of our enigmatic electromagnetic spectrum.